a date in Boston with a guy who was a med student, and he has been charged with her murder. And so many people, the early reviews for 212 have compared the book to the Craigslist killer case, but my book was actually finished before that even happened. And when the case came out, when the girl was found dead in Boston, and it was clear what had been going on, her secret life online, my editor emailed me and she's like, this is really eerie, like maybe you should stop writing about bad stuff because it's all going to come true. It was a little chilling, because after I wrote Dead to Connection, some guy had used Match.com in the Philadelphia area to commit a series of rapes. He had made up fake profiles on Match.com to lure women, and then he would give them roofies and rape them. And that was after I wrote Dead Connection. So my editor thinks I'm kind of creepy. She's like, the stuff you write comes true.
Okay.
Warn us about what you're writing about.
No,
Warn us what you're
yeah,
writing
so
about.
in my next book, there's a library in Muskego.
Okay, there's one more thing I want to do before I turn it over to questions from the audience. Some of you may know that in Alafair's family, there's another person who's rather well known in making magazine covers. And I'm a very big fan of his as well. But he couldn't make it today. His name's Duffer. Okay?
It's my dog.
And what was the he was just on another cover. What was
Was
what was the magazine?
Duffer's really famous. I don't know. Duffer's been in a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I'm
yes.
not thinking off the top of my head.
He's just as famous as Alafair these days.
Just as famous as me. He's just as unknown as Alafair is.
But he couldn't make it, and so we know that any good mom, when she leaves and goes on a trip and comes back, she has to take something home, right? So I thought that we could help her out.
How did you get something for Duffer?
Duffer's grandparents got him this little zebra that he really likes. So I thought that we should add to his zoo.
Oh, he's going to love that. Thank you so much, Jen. He's going to go to town on that. I'm going to get to hear that for weeks to come. Yeah, my dog is a French bulldog who is, he's quite a little clown, actually. But yeah, he really goes crazy on his toys. So thank you so much. That was really sweet of you.
Oh, she wants to see the cow.
Oh, you want to see?
Okay, while
You wanna
she's
take
getting the
questions?
cow out, how about if we take some questions? Okay, I really didn't do that good a job because there's a lot of unanswered questions on this sheet.
I'm a law professor. I can call on you.
Are you a plotter? Do you plot out your way the stories are going to go, or do you write?
No, with each book, as I miraculously managed to finish, I tell myself I'm never going to do it that way again. I'm going to put the time in up front. I'm going to plot it out so that I can be like Conrath and write 20,000 words in a day. But I can't do it. I just can't until I really know the characters, and I only know them by writing them. It's hard for me to see what they're going to do. So far, the way I've done it is I have an idea, just a setup really, and I might have an idea of some of the themes I want to explore. But in terms of what happens in what order, I don't know. I usually have a sense of like a couple of the clues, how when you're reading and you know something big just happened, but you're not really sure how it's going to fit together, but like the Rubik's Cube just turned a little bit. I usually start with a sense of like what those big aha moments are going to be, like the big got you for, where the reader is going to go, oh, that's what happened. So I usually have a sense of that. But other than that, I just start writing, and like I said, I'm always shocked that it turns out okay. And I don't do multiple drafts really. The one draft will take me 6 or 7 months, I suppose. And then I have a great editor that we have a very symbiotic relationship. So we usually pass it back and forth a few times over the next month, but it's not a rewrite. I wouldn't call it that. It's tweaking. And I like the editing process. But yeah, it always manages to come together, and I'm just starting a new book now, and I'm very much in the dark about, I wonder what's going to happen. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yes.
Are your books more character-driven than plot-driven?
Do you think my books are plot-driven or character-driven?
I think they're fairly balanced.
Yeah, I would say, for me, plot matters a lot. When people say plot doesn't matter, you just read for the characters, you can read any genre for character. The reason why I really love mysteries and thrillers is I love plots. I like it that I feel like if you're going to hold yourself out as being either a mystery or a thriller, you're making a promise to the reader that things are going to be resolved. So there will be an end. There's a reason all this stuff is going to happen, and there's going to be an ending, and that the ending is going to be something that will make the reader think, why didn't I figure that out? Of course that's what happened, and yet they never did figure it out. For me as a reader, that's why I love the genre, that it's just like, oh, that's what it's like, that big mind blow, you know, where you think, it was all right in front of me, why didn't I put all of that together? Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't see it. And it's, to me, as a writer, yes, character is important, the prose is important, but I want that payoff to be there, so I spend a lot, I mean, even though I don't plot a book out, I think about surprises, I think about how it's going to come together. And that's why I'm always surprised that, I mean, people do think the plots pay out generally, you know, I think I do get recognized for that, but I don't plot it out. It's just, it comes pretty organically, and then I realize, like, oh, it was in front of me, and that's how it's going to happen. This is how it's going to unfold.
For me as a reader, I really am invested in Alafair's plots because of her characters. So that's why I say that it's very well balanced. One of the questions that we didn't get to was that I really enjoy the relationships she builds between characters, and then that helps to enhance her plots too.
Are people here, there are some people here who write, right? For me, you know, it's funny, Tom asked about plotting. The few times I've had what people might call writer's block, where I just can't make the words come out, it's been because I think I've plotted it. Like, I think I know what the next scene is going to be, and then when I go to write it, if it doesn't happen, it's usually because I decided 2 months ago and 100 pages ago that something was going to happen, but the way I've developed the character just wouldn't do that. Like, a character wouldn't drive there at 2 in the morning. That wouldn't happen. And so then I've got to stop and think about how I can have that piece of the puzzle fill in a way that's consistent with character. You just rework, you got to rework it sometimes.
Other questions? Okay, I think we're going to turn it back over to you, Penny.
Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Such a nice room.
I want to thank you. Excuse me.